All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to this Why Bravenly call. My name is Taylor Herzer, and I am a board certified PA by trade, and I'm an executive vice president here at Bravenly. Tonight, you are going to get to hear from four, including myself, five exceptional women, and all five of us have a background in clinical medicine. Now, the reason I'm starting this off with that information is you're going to hear all of us talk about our careers and our experiences and what led us to Bravenly and saying yes to Bravenly. But what I do want to make very clear is that this is not a medical endorsement of Bravenly or its products, and nothing we share, even if we're sharing our own testimonials or things that we've seen with the products, none of these things should be taken as medical advice. You should always consult your personal clinician before starting any supplements, new medications, anything like that. But one thing that we do have in common is that we do all have careers in medicine. That is how I know all of these women for the most part. And so we decided to do this really fun event and share our stories together. But what I hope is not that you think, okay, I need to be a PA or a nurse or a CRNA or a physician or whatever to be part of Bravenly. That is not the case. You can be from any walk of life. You can have a high school diploma or 14 PhDs. You can be a stay-at-home mom, or you can be a corporate executive, and you can find your place here at Bravenly. So I'm going to start by sharing just a little bit of my story. Then I'm going to turn it over to one of my personal friends, and she's going to share her story. And then I'll come back on the end of the event, and I will talk a little bit more about the facts about Bravenly. But I want to start by just sharing my story with you. Now, again, it may or may not resonate with you. It may or may not be something that sounds like your life, but I do believe that my story is going to touch someone tonight, and you can relate to myself or one of my good friends when they share their story. So I had been practicing clinical medicine for about 7.5, 8 years in the emergency department when I really started experiencing heavy burnout. And that came from a multitude of different factors, but primarily the fact that I had had my Harper, my daughter, and all of my priorities shifted. You see, before that, I was working as many shifts as I possibly could. I was picking up at multiple emergency departments. I wanted to be the go-to girl in the ER, and I had achieved that. The problem was I had the house on the right street. I had the car with the right emblem, the purses with the right logos. I was living the dream from the outside. But what I didn't have was time. I didn't have time with my daughter. I had my family raising her, and I was missing out on her first steps. I'll never forget my husband sending me a video of my daughter taking her first steps while I was on shift. And I went in the bathroom and I just sobbed. And I thought, this is not the life that I thought it was going to be when I dreamt of being a physician or a PA my whole life. And so I just honestly started praying for a way out of the emergency department. And I thought it would come in the form of a directorship or a teaching position. I love teaching. I always have. I've taken students in the emergency department for years. But what it ended up coming in the form of was Bravenly. And it was not something that I expected. I initially said no to it, actually. But after trying the products myself, I was addicted to caffeine. Again, working at 80 hours outside of the home, a mom to an infant slash toddler, wife to a very busy husband and entrepreneur. I loved caffeine, and I was surviving on caffeine and a prayer pretty much. So I told my friend I wasn't going to do the business with her, but I would try the products. And when I tried the Rush energy drink, which is our vitamin packed adaptogen, nootropic, it has 72 ionic minerals. I had more mental clarity and energy and alertness than I had had in years. And it was from one simple swap. And I thought, I'm never going back. So I did a lot of investigation, a lot of research into the products, into the founders, into the company structure, the compensation structure, and every single one of those things checked the box for me that said I can align with this company in all areas, from my beliefs, from the potential for myself to earn a substantial income, for me to be able to lead other people. They aligned with family first and the values that I was seeking, and I went all in. Now, this is my personal story. It did take work, it did take sacrifice. I'm not saying that this is guaranteed, but my long-term goal with Bravenly was to earn $4,500 a month and be able to go part-time in the emergency department. I earned that $4,500 paycheck within 60 days of getting started with Bravenly. I matched my PA income by 6 months. I doubled it by 12, and now almost 2 years in, I'm retired from emergency medicine. I do still work 2 days clinically in a clinical practice here in Oklahoma because I truly do love medicine and it's nice to get out and get to talk to people about holistic health. I talk to my patients about Bravenly. And again, just getting on any stay-at-home moms understand. I was like, I'm going to be a full-time stay-at-home mom, and then I was like, maybe I want a few days outside of the house. So those are my days just to get to use my skills, use my knowledge, still impact people directly with their health, and then I get to work Bravenly full time. We are completely debt-free as a family because of Bravenly, and I am forever grateful for this opportunity, which is why I continue to share about it. Not because I need to make any more money. Again, praise God, we are taken care of financially. We are debt free and honestly set for life. But I continue to share about this because it would feel selfish to me to have such an opportunity that radically changed my life and was an answered prayer for me if I didn't continue sharing that with other people who may be having that same prayer as me, loving their career, feeling fulfilled, but all of a sudden it's not quite as fulfilling because something else takes that number one spot, that number one priority for you. I still feel like I'm impacting people's health and their lives and making a difference in the world and using my medical brain, honestly. But I just get to do that with thousands of people across the country and soon to be in two additional countries, being Canada and Australia, instead of just in the emergency department. So this has been a huge blessing to me, and I will continue to share about Bravenly with anyone who will listen. So I'm now going to turn it over to my colleague, PA colleague, and friend, Michaela, and she's going to share a little bit about her story with Bravenly with you.
Yeah, so I am Michaela Weaver. I am a PA, like she said. I have about 10 years, a little bit less, 9, of emergency medicine experience, and now I have moved into urgent care. But my background is very much Western medicine. So my brain works in a Western medicine way most of the time. And I love Western medicine. I'm super grateful for it, and I know how important it is. It's incredible for helping people survive emergencies, and we can do great things in the emergency department. I have seen that firsthand, but I also have seen where there's a gap. So there was so many people that would walk in, even before I had any of my own medical issues, that were walking around and they were just kind of surviving and not thriving, and they were doing things that they were told to do by their doctor and still not feeling well. And so I would see these people in the emergency department all the time. They would come in and they'd say, like, I just have all this joint pain, or I have these GI issues, or I'm so fatigued. I've got these headaches that just really affect my day-to-day life, and nobody can figure anything out. Or they're having anxiety and panic attacks or brain fog, like so many different things. And when you first start medicine, you can be like, oh, some people are just dramatic, their labs are normal, they're fine. But when you see it time after time after time for years and years and years, and some of these people personally, you realize, like, no, this is really affecting their life. There's something more to the story that these basic labs and this basic imaging that I'm able to do are just not telling. And so these people had gone to their primary care. They were asking the right questions and following their advice and doing elimination diets and going to the gym and drinking the amount of water and all of the things. And they were still just truly miserable. And eventually they'd end up in the ER seeing me because they didn't know what else to do. They had done all of the right things and they still were miserable. And they were just truly desperate for answers. And so, to be honest, like, the ER is not really a place where we deep dive into chronic medical conditions. We're really good at ruling out emergencies. We're really good at taking care of emergencies there. And that's something I love too. But going deeper into the root cause of their symptoms was just not something that I had the ability to do there. And even outside of the ER and Western medicine in general, I just don't think that we are taught. Well, I know for a fact because I completed PA school that we are not taught to really deep dive into root cause medicine. We're getting better at it, but we're not great at it. A lot of times we are following like different algorithms or things like that, and that's determining our treatment plan. And we're not really digging into, like, is there inflammation going on here? Are there nutrient deficiencies? How's your gut health? Are your hormones balanced? How's your nervous system doing? How's your stress? How much sleep do you get? What's your toxic load like? Like, nobody has ever asked me those questions. And so that really hit me very hard whenever I found myself as the patient. So anytime you've been a patient, you realize, if you've ever been a healthcare worker and then a patient, you realize it's a very humbling experience. And so I became the patient when I looked healthy from the outside, but I was struggling with infertility. And I mean, truly looked healthy. Like, I owned a boutique fitness studio and was working out multiple times a day and leading other people in fitness challenges. and eating well and drinking my water and doing all the things, but I knew that something was wrong. And so whenever I started dealing with infertility, I was going and seeking medical advice and getting actually multiple opinions. And I kept kind of being handed this umbrella term of PCOS that I just felt like did not fit. Nobody was asking me enough questions to get to the root cause, and I knew that. And ultimately being handed a medication that I didn't feel comfortable taking and didn't feel like was, again, the right fit. And so I remember just being so frustrated and feeling like, well, it's because nobody's asking me the right questions. And so that just led me to totally deep dive on my own because, hey, I've got a degree in medicine. I should be able to figure this out, into functional medicine and hormones and gut health and cortisol and nutrient deficiencies and how they all work together and affect one another. So I started making changes on my own, prioritizing sleep and lowering my stress levels and changing the type of workouts that I did. But I also started looking into like what deficiencies that I may have that could relate to infertility. And so eventually, through all of that, lots of money spent on labs and lots of strings pulled by friends that are physicians to get me into functional medicine providers because it's not easy to get in to see those people. But I ended up figuring it out and I got pregnant and I had a healthy pregnancy and praise God for that. That was truly such an answer to prayer. But even at the end of that, like I've got 27 supplements on my counter, like 27. I can't take all of those every day. And so I realized like what I'm doing is working. It's not ideal and it's not really sustainable long term. And so I kind of just took myself off of it. I thought, you know what? I'm gonna have this baby. I'm gonna be fine, and my body's gonna reset. And it did not, because if you've ever felt what postpartum feels like and how exhausted you are and how messed up your hormones are, you realize that is not how it works. You don't just get a perfect reset. And that's really about the time that Bravenly specifically caught my attention. And it really was not the products at first, it was the culture. I saw a video from somebody at a conference sharing just a pan across the room of them worshiping at the beginning of conference. And I'm like, what are you doing? What company is that? And she answered me, and I thought, okay, cool. I don't have time to mess with it. And then later, I saw some other people sharing about the products, and I started seeing the ingredients, and I was like, oh, that's a lot of stuff that I'm already taking. And so that really is what piqued my interest, is just knowing like, okay, this one product has like five of the things that I'm already taking in it. I think the blends at Bravenly are so smart, and that is really what caught my attention. So then I started researching it really hard because, again, I've been in emergency medicine. So I've seen people put themselves into kidney failure and arrhythmias and everything else from these perfect supplements that they decided to put themselves on with no medical oversight. And so that's scary. So what impressed me when I researched was that these products are GMP certified, which means that they follow very strict manufacturing and quality control standards whenever they're made. They are triple tested by a third party for purity, concentration, and heavy metals. So that means that they're testing the raw ingredients, they're testing during manufacturing, and then they're testing at the end. To make sure that everything is what they're advertising. They are gluten-free, they're soy-free, they're dye-free, they are very clean overall. And so I was very impressed when I started doing my research, and I chose to go ahead and try the products. I tried the Accelerate Trio first, and honestly, I very quickly was obsessed with it. My energy stabilized, my mood improved, and again, I was postpartum, so that was a big deal. Actually, my milk supply improved. I was breastfeeding at the time, which thank you to Gold for that. And my skin also improved, which I didn't even really see coming. And so Rush was replacing my big sugary HTOT or my Sonic drink, and I was going in the right direction. I just genuinely felt better. And so naturally, people were asking me, like, what are you doing? And at first, I told Taylor I want nothing to do with the business side. I actually had just sold my boutique fitness studio. And if you've ever owned a small business, you understand, like, you are everyone. You are the marketer, you are the person who comes up with the sale, markets the sale, implements the sale, deals with the sale when people are upset about the sale, like just all of the things. Schedules the classes for them to use their sale passes on, like it's just a lot. And I was like, I am a workaholic a little bit. I have a hard time knowing when to stop. And so I said, I'm never doing anything where I own my own business ever again. But the thing was, people were coming and they were asking me about these products, and I knew they would help them. And so it was very natural, very organic for me to share this. And I realized just how simple it could be and how quickly it would scale. Because whenever one person would try the product, they would want more and they would reorder. And I really wasn't having to do a lot of work for that. Our reorder rate's incredible here. So even though I honestly probably signed up more to get the discount, eventually I did upgrade to brand partner. And Taylor eventually told me, I think it was in May of last year, hey, why don't you just be consistent for 30 days and see what happens? And so that's what I did. and I very quickly hit director. And then I was like, oh, I'm gonna make an income goal. I was like, I'm gonna try to make my car payment for a new car because I didn't have a car payment, but I wanted a bigger car. And so that's what I did. Very quickly was able to do that. And it really shocked me how achievable that goal was. But we have incredible leadership here and we have incredible systems that work so well. And so I honestly have just never looked back since. But the money hasn't even been the best part. The best part has just been watching other women realize what they're capable of. I didn't know I would be leading a team, but I truly believe that network marketing is one of the greatest equalizers that ever exist. And your degree doesn't determine your ceiling here. And so it didn't matter what backgrounds. These people started joining my team from all different backgrounds, and it was just very fulfilling to watch all of them succeed. And it's the only place I could come and say, hey, I'm a PA, but you can just do exactly what I'm doing and make what I'm making tomorrow. You can start if you want to. So, anyways, I obviously love Bravenly. I love the products. They impressed me. I loved the blends, and the business has also been incredible too. I could talk on and on about it, but I'm going to pass it on to Caitlin.
Hello, thank you, Michaela. Well, my name is Caitlin Francis. I am a senior executive director here at Bravenly, but I am also a nurse. And so I had about 4 years of emergency medicine background. Um, and so that actually has really not much to do with my story. I'm actually going to shift you in a whole other direction. So I actually have been with a affiliate marketing, network marketing company prior to this. I did it for about a year. I was all in with it. I earned a free trip in 3 months and I was loving it. But something did not feel aligned. It didn't feel at home for me. It was, it just wasn't where my heart was. And so I actually, after the trip, I stepped back a little bit. And I had been following about Bravenly for a while. And I was like, you know what? I don't know if I want to dip my toes in this again. But here I am, and I did. And I am so glad that I did, because I was truly letting fear hold me back from something that now has absolutely changed my family's life. Um, and so I'm going to take you back. Last February, I joined Bravenly, and I joined, but here's the thing. I actually let fear continue to hold me back. And I look at that every single day now, and I'm like, what the heck was I thinking? And a week later, after I joined, I actually found out I was pregnant with our second little girl. And so that was even more overwhelming. I was like, oh my gosh, here I am starting a whole new business, pregnant with a toddler. What am I going to do? And so I let the fear hold me back. I was seeing people win left and right in this company. I was seeing people's lives being changed. And so, fast forward to 6 months. It was about June, I would say. I messaged Taylor, who I am under, and I said, okay, I'm done playing scared. I got maternity leave that I got to take. I'm taking 3 months with this new baby, and I do not get that in the position that I am at as a nurse. And so I'm just not letting that hold me back. I said, I'm going to pay for this maternity leave. So I'm a kind of a strange thing. A lot of people ask me, did you take a lot of the Bravenly products while you were pregnant? And I said I took some, but not a lot. I didn't let that hold me back from continuing to share about these life-changing products. Every single day, I was sharing about these products, whether I was taking them or not, because I knew that somebody needed them. So I went all in. And fast forward to October, our baby girl was born, and I completely paid for my maternity leave. And from June to October, I got 3 months. I matched my RN salary of what I was needing because we are not a one income family. We like to live fancy. And I was so blessed. That took the stress off me there. Well, then life threw some curveballs at me. Our little girl, she went to the NICU. 5 days after I delivered our baby, I got Bell's palsy. You can probably see, I still have a little residual in my eye. Um, it was one of the hardest seasons, and I get very emotional talking about it. It was one of the hardest seasons, and here I am again. Um, my grandpa passed away. I lost my childhood dog. My baby girl was in and out of the hospital 3 days before Christmas. But here I am every single day. I was plugging in and I was showing up for my team because this company, I was getting messages from my team, my leaders checking in on me every single day, and that meant the world to me. That's what was also amazing is the community here is unmatched. It's unmatched. The income here, unmatched. The products that we offer, truly life-changing. I'm 7 months postpartum, and I can say that this postpartum, my energy level has been up. I actually feel way better this time. I had severe postpartum depression with my first daughter, and I had minor, postpartum blues. But this postpartum has been an absolute blessing as far as the emotional standpoint because of these products. I don't think I would be where I'm at today. I will say I'm not making any type of medical claims, but half of my face, you will probably see some pictures when you join, half of my face was completely droopy. I was taking gold regularly. I was taking these products regularly. I was decreasing my inflammation overall. And my whole story here is to tell you guys that in the hardest of your days, you can show up and you can be here. I get people all the time tell me, I don't know if I have time to do this. I don't know. Girl, if I can do it, so can you. I have two littles. I have a 7 month old and now a 4 year old. I'm still a nurse. I work a couple days a week at the hospital, but not many now because of this company. And so when people tell me that they are too busy, I'm just like, no, you are not. You can do this. Like, I promise. Like, I get people have crazy life experiences. I get it. Like, life happens every single day. But you have to make the decision whether you want to show up and you want to change your life. This can be so impactful for you. We have resources that are truly incredible. Absolutely incredible. Coming from my previous company to this one now, it is a huge eye opener what we literally give you when you join us. We're not going to overload you with all this information, be like, here you go, here's an open book, just figure it out, and here we are. No, we help you every single step of the way because that's what you get when you plug in with one of us here. We want everybody to win here. We do not want anybody to fail. If it's not for you after you've plugged in for a year, then okay, you have given it your best shot. But guess what? You are not going to know. You're not going to get your toes wet until you just jump all in. Just do it. So that is my story here. And I could, like Michaela and Taylor so far, I could talk on and on and on about this, but I just get so emotional every time I talk about it because the blessing here, it is just it's wide open with what you can accomplish here. You're going to get friends for life. You're going to get a community that prays over you, loves over you. It's just absolutely incredible. So thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to hand it over to Macy now. She's my girl. So here we go, Macy.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay. You know what, guys? We're done here. They've just rocked it. I every time we have these or I listen to any of them speak, I'm like so fired up. I'm just like, all right, let's get to work. But um I am Macy Malott. I too am a PA. I live in Southern Oklahoma. Taylor and I went to school together. I've been a PA for almost a decade. It's crazy because I'm only 25, but um so yeah, my background is similar. I have worked in urgent care medicine. I've worked in orthopedic sports medicine, and now I actually work in some behavioral health. And so I kind of done it all, and I absolutely love being a PA. And I am shocked sometimes that I'm sitting here in front of you because I joined Bravenly for the products. Period, point blank. I only wanted to try the products. I had just been diagnosed with Crohn's about 2 years ago. I felt terrible. I was very sick. I had gone through some pretty traumatic things a couple years prior, bad breakups, just life things that happened. And I just was not taking care of myself. I did not feel well. And I saw Taylor posting about these products and I trusted her. I knew her background. We went to school together. I just simply trusted her, right? And so I remember messaging her and I said, "Hey, I want to try these products. I specifically want to try gold. I read about it and thought, okay, I really want to try this. How can I get the biggest discount?" That's literally what I said. And she was like, "Well, if you sign up to sell, that's how you get the biggest discount." And I'm like, "All right." I had no intentions of selling ever, guys. I have no experience, zero, none. I don't have a social media following. I literally graduated high school, went to college, played softball in college, went right to PA school, and then was a PA. I have no business experience at all. And so if you don't hear anything other than, hey, you don't have to have some crazy background in business, some crazy social media following to be successful here, I want you to hear that because I am that person. No experience whatsoever. But I started trying the products and I thought, wow, these really work. I had a horrible caffeine addiction, like the girls before me said. And I remember drinking a rush, and I remember sitting in a room with a patient, and I was like listening to them, and I was just engaging with them, and I'm like, I'm a way better PA on these products. Like I was like, I feel so much better. And I admit that now. Like I mean, I thought I was good then, but I'm like, wow, like I feel great. And so for me, it just naturally, I just started sharing about these products. I believed in them, I read about them, and I thought, okay, other people need to try these. I had my mom try them and I made her sign up to sell because I was like, just get the discount. You know, I mean, I'm like telling all these people, just get the discount. Like I had no business trying to market. I didn't know. And then I remember it was like 6 months into this, and I had this light bulb moment. It was like God almost just smacked me in the face, and He was like, do you not remember you praying to me about needing, like in your future, you want to be able to stay home with your children? Because that's something that I've prayed for forever. My mom got to stay home with me as a kid, and I just cherished that. Like, I cherished that. I'm so thankful that I didn't have to go to a daycare. If that's your story, please don't be offended by that. But I loved getting to be with my family and be with my grandparents, all the things. And so for me, it was like, that's always been a prayer in my heart. Like, I want to have the opportunity to have the freedom if I do have children. I don't have children yet, but that's obviously that's my goal. And so that's something that I've always prayed. But as a PA, I thought that's not possible. Like I'm never going to be able to have the freedom to do that or have a side income or anything of that nature because I have to be at work. I make it, we make a good living. We're all healthcare professionals. Like we know what it's like to work hard and make a good living, but here's the thing, you have to be present. You have to be there. And so for me, I just took that out of my brain and it was like God just smacked me and said, "Hey, look at this. Like, look at what Bravenly has for you. Like, this is, I know you've never done this, but like, this is an opportunity I'm giving you." And it was just, I couldn't unsee it. Once that happened for me, I was like, oh, like I could not unsee what Bravenly was, what Bravenly stood for. I knew it, I knew I aligned with the values, the beliefs. I mean, everything about Bravenly is what I stand for. And that was a no-brainer for me, but I never believed in myself that I could actually be successful financially in this space. I just didn't think it was for me because I didn't have experience. And so as time has gone on, it's like, oh my goodness, the resources, like everything has been given to me. Yes, it takes hard work. I'm not saying that, but what I'm telling you is if you are somebody that feels like you can't be successful here because you have no experience, you're lying to yourself. You're letting yourself get in your way. And I tell my team all the time, get out of your own way, get out of your own head, because that's all it is. You are absolutely capable of being successful here, period. You are. There is nothing different between me and all the other girls that have spoke before me and that are going to speak after me. There's nothing different than us. We just believe in ourselves and we believe in this team and we believe in this community and believe in these products. Period. That's the only thing that's different. And we work hard. But so can you. And so I'm telling you that if you feel like I don't have any social media following, I don't know a lot of people, I don't know, I'm not good at talking on a live. I'm not pretty enough. Yada yada yada. I could go on. I could list all those things because guess what? I've thought about it. I am not some tiny little girl who's prim and proper and perfect. That is not me. And I can find success here, and so can you. And so I go on a tangent and I preach all the time about it, but I want you to believe in yourself because you can be successful here. It is a pack and play system. Everything is given to you. It's almost comical because everything is given to you. People above us, below us, all around us work so hard at streamlining these systems that I'm just like, I would have never even thought of that. Like I would have never, that would have never crossed my mind. Like, you are smart, girl. Can I use that? I mean, seriously, it is such a tight-knit community, and I am so blessed by it. So if you don't hear anything at all from me, please know you don't have to have some major, business success prior to here. You don't have to be a part of a company before here. You don't have to have this big following. You may have one friend. Guess what? We can make more, I promise. So please know that you can find success here. So that's kind of my spiel. I just joined for the products. I'm so, 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 so thankful that I listened to God and I listened to friends and I believed in myself because that's really all it took. And once I saw Bravenly, I could not unsee it. Bravenly will be a household product, period. We are already expanding into 2 countries. We are going global. It says Bravenly Global for a reason. And I promise you, it is not too late for you to join. We are at ground zero. We are at the ground level. We are just, I don't even think we've hit momentum, which is a very bold statement for me to say because again, new business girly. But I'm telling you, once you see what Bravenly will do, you're just like, oh my gosh, I have to get in. So please know you are not too late. You just have to make the decision. And once you've made that decision, I promise you, you can get to work and you can find success here. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Jordan. Jordan is an incredible friend of mine. She is a wonderful teammate. She is a great leader. And she's one of those girls that has given me some ideas where I'm like, wow. So Jordan, take it away, sister.
Thank you, Macy. That was so sweet of you. She just brought the heat, you guys, did she not? Okay, well, I am going to jump to it. My name is Jordan Bartels. I am a vice president here at Bravenly. That means nothing to you guys, okay? I'm just going to say that. That literally means nothing to you guys. But what I'm going to tell you guys is that I have a lot to share, so I'm going to try to talk really fast. So, I thought for the longest time that my dream would be to be a trauma RN nurse. Literally, that's all I ever wanted to be. I was living my life, and my husband and I were still living half the time together. For the first time, we were together for 3 weeks, and I thought, man, this is what life is supposed to be like. So that month in 2021, I decided to quit my dream job to come home and be with my husband full time and to potentially be a stay-at-home mom. So that is a little bit about my story from RN to where I was at now. And I want to start by saying that I do have previous experience here in network marketing. I was in the top 5% of my previous company. I built there for 5 years. And I decided to come to Bravenly for a couple of reasons, but I want to take you back to kind of the start of when Bravenly came into my life. It was November of 2024. I am actually standing in my kitchen, and I'm looking over here to my left, and I remember my husband coming home and saying, Jordan, have you not moved at all today? And it really hit me. I had no energy. I didn't want to play with my daughter. I literally looked towards bedtime. I looked towards nap time. But the kicker was I was living in my answered prayer. I've been praying for my daughter, but I know I had no energy. I didn't care to do anything. And I just thought to myself, God, why'd you give me an answer? But why do I not care? Why do I have no energy? Why do I not want to do any of this? So I reached out to Taylor and I said, listen, I'm going to try these products. I doubt they work, but I'm going to try them. So send me what I need to do. So I got started on the Accelerate Trio and I got the Sour Apple Rush. And I'm just going to disclaimer, if you know me, you know me. Sour Apple will probably go to the grave with me. I need it in my, like when I get buried, because that's literally the product that changed my life. I'm not joking. You guys, Sour Apple got me off of 5 cups of coffee a day. It got me from literally surviving sitting in that chair right there, where I started to want to play with my daughter. I was wanting to work out again. I was wanting to move my body again. I felt like my life was getting back into me. I was getting confidence again. And so I just knew that I wasn't the only mom out there that literally was begging and pleading for a way out, or thinking, man, this is what life looks like as a mom now. There's no way. So that was in November. I love the products, but you guys, I was still with my previous company and I wasn't sharing it with anyone. quite frankly. And I said, I share everything that I love. I share everything that I love, but yet I was keeping half of my life a secret that truly was changing my life. And so I had earned a trip to Paris. I don't know if I said that. I traveled all over the world. We made all the money. If you were looking at my life, you thought I was living a life. And we got back from Paris in May, and I decided to leave my company and come here to Bravenly, not having any idea if it would match my pay, if I would make the pay that I was wanting to bring home again, literally nothing. But I knew that if I could help one person, one mom, decide or know that they could feel better again, that they could get confident again, that they could play with their kid again, if this wasn't what mom life was supposed to be like, that I had to share it with another person. I didn't care if the income was to come, I could go back to being a nurse, but I knew that I had to go share these products because they were changing lives. So I did. And to my, I don't know, I work hard. So I'm going to just say that. I work very hard. My friends can tell you that I work very hard. But I grew to the top 1% of the company in 5 months. That's not saying woe is me. What that is saying is that I stepped into faith and I decided to let go what I thought was where I was supposed to be, but go to where I knew my heart was because I knew that I had something that could change someone's life, and the Lord blessed me. So back in October, we hit vice president, and I have helped plenty of people. And I really want to hone in on a couple of things. So and this makes me emotional to say, because like I said, I've been a leader at my previous company and here. But for the first time in 6 years, I can confidently say, you come to me and say, Joe, I need to make $500. I can give you the blueprint to do it. Joe, I need to make $1,000. I can give you the blueprint to do it. Joe, I need to make $2,000. I can give you the blueprint to do it for the first time. And ultimately, if you know me, you know that being a leader and caring for my team is the only thing I care about. So the fact that we can help you get there because the system's in place, the fact that we have daily training from the top leaders, every single one of us that speak on here, you get training from every single day. We send you posts to do. We send I mean, when I tell you that there's literally nothing that you cannot do, if you're willing to put the work in, you will be successful. Point blank, bottom, that's in the story, but it's up to you. And so I want to leave you with this. I'm not saying that you have to go and quit your job. I'm not saying that you have to be a millionaire. I'm not saying any of that. But what I am telling you, that if you've been praying for a way out, that if you've been praying to feel confident again, if you've been praying for your energy to be back, if you've been praying for any specific thing, if you've been praying for more finances, then you are on this call for an exact reason. And I beg you to listen in on what we are having to say and just say yes to yourself. You have no idea what this could potentially do for you and your family. And so I literally beg you, I don't care if I asked you to come, if Caitlin asked you to come, Macy, Taylor, whoever, I beg you to listen here and just have an open heart to say yes to yourself and see what you can do to literally change your life, your health, and your finances. So that's all I have. Taylor, I'm giving it back to you, girlfriend. Thank you so much for changing all of our lives.
Wow, wow, wow. Guys, I will say this over and over again. I'm not emotional. I'm not a cry on all the things. I was texting them. I'm like, I'm not having to drink water to like keep the tears back. I love these women so much. And if their stories didn't move you, you probably need to like check your pulse and make sure that you are still okay. Their stories are so inspirational and so incredible. But I also know that right now someone is listening and their heart's racing and their palms are getting a little bit sweaty and they're like, oh my gosh, I think this is the thing. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And the second you start to believe in yourself, you're also going to hear the enemy telling you, you don't know enough people. You don't have a big enough following. You don't have enough money. You don't have enough time. Who would join you? Who would buy from you? You know nothing about supplements. You're overweight. You haven't ever stuck with a diet. How are you going to be successful with Bravenly? And I want you right now to tell the enemy to just shut the heck up. Okay. None of those things are true. And the reason I can spout them off so quickly is because he says the same stuff to all of us. Every single person before they get started, they think the same things. It's not new. It's not original. It is literally lies of the enemy keeping you from breakthrough and keeping you from your potential. But to those people who are having the emotional response, and then you're going to try and use logic like I do, that ER background comes out. I'm risk averse. I'm like, okay, my heart is racing, but I can block all those emotions out and be like, let's think logically. And that's what I had to do to make my decision because I knew my heart and my spirit, and I knew I wanted to do it so badly, but I had to convince my logical brain, not my heart. My heart was already in it and wanting to do it, but I had to convince my logical brain that this was a smart decision. So before we close this out, I want to speak to the facts of Bravenly because here's the thing. Whether you have 50,000 followers or you only know 50 people in your small town, the facts about Bravenly are what are going to make you successful. Every single person that shares about Bravenly has the exact same website. They have the exact same back office. They have the exact same products. We are marketing the exact same thing. And that means that you can do it too, right? It's a level playing field. Everything that I have, I give to my team. So I'm going to tell you some of the facts about Bravenly that convinced me to say yes. And then I'm also going to share a few of our specific resources that you get when you join our team. So if you were invited by me, one of these ladies, or someone that's partnered with them in business, you get all of my team's resources. And that is exclusive to us. And I believe is the reason why we are a top duplicating team. We have more people earning a paycheck on this team than any other team in the company. Well, we're top five. And Jordan, for example, won the award last year for helping people earn a paycheck faster than anyone else in the entire company. And this happens again because of systems. But if you've never done sales, you don't know what the heck we're talking about. You're like, what is this systems thing you keep talking about? So let me tell you the facts really fast. I'm going to spout them off quickly and you can watch the replay. Bravenly Global is 5 years old. In our first year of business, we did $1 million in sales. Last year, we did $100 million in sales. Why is that a big deal? Less than 0.04% of companies in the world have ever hit a $100 million year in 5 years and probably never will. Okay. We've done over 200 million to date. Okay, that is absolutely massive. It shows momentum, it shows forward progress. And in that time, we have never had a product go on back order, which means when your customers love the product, they know they're going to get it. And the reason that's important is because if you've ever had your favorite lipstick, product, whatever, and you can't get it at the time that you need it, what do? You go buy another product and you may fall in love with that new one and never come back to it. So not having a product go on back order despite our demand is absolutely massive. Like Michaela mentioned, we're GMP certified, we're third party tested. We adhere to good manufacturing processes, meaning that every product is safe, it's effective, it's evidence backed, and every single thing on this label is exactly what it says it is with no additives, nothing else in there. And you know that what you're ingesting is safe and effective. Our customers love our products. We are the #6 consumer goods company in the United States. We outranked Poppy on the Inc. 5000 list. Poppy was just purchased by PepsiCo as the company to buy. It was like a $2 billion transaction, and we outranked them, according to the Inc. 5000 list, with faster growth and a better company to invest in. But guess what? We're not taking investors, we're taking people along for the ride with us. You can't invest in Apple. You can't, unless you're a multimillionaire, and then you're probably not on this call. You can't invest in Meta. You can't invest in Poppy, but you can invest in yourself by starting a Bravenly Global business and being a part of this. Our customers love our products. Our customer testimonial group has 105,000 people in it, and that was just started 2 years ago by our team. We have an over 85% reorder rate from customers. And I don't know about you, but I don't reorder products that don't work well. We have a less than 1% return rate because we give customers 30 days to decide if the products are right for them, but less than 1% of people decide the products aren't right for them. And that's the reason we have sustainable businesses, because if you don't have products that work and you don't have customers that love the products and are reordering, you're constantly in this hamster wheel and rat race of finding new, instead of just continuing to pour into the people that are buying products from you and then adding new as they come in a non-stress, non-pressure way. And your income continues to grow because of that. Okay. Now, from a business perspective, again, that's a sustainable business for you. You get to make a one-time investment in your business. We can make that free, or you can buy a whole bunch of products at almost 50% discount with our biggest brand partner launch pack, which is $699. Guys, I have started now a $1 million organization for $699. My husband runs a brick and mortar business, and just his overhead makes it to where he can barely bring home an income. And it's a 33-year-old family business. And you would think he's living the dream. He has the brick and mortar. His company does almost $2 million a year, but his overhead absolutely crushes him, where I have to keep us afloat with my income from my online business that people roll their eyes at. My business costs me $0 to run. I have zero marketing fees, zero maintenance fees, zero employee fees. I'm not paying malpractice. I'm not paying anything. There's zero overhead. Your website that I talked about is completely free. The marketing is done on social media or through word of mouth. We have no required auto ships. You're going to want the products. You're going to want to order them every month, but it's not required of you to make an income. A lot of companies require you to order every month to make money off of the sales that you're making, which is just crazy to me. And we don't require that. And then the last thing that I love about this company is we don't require any recruiting. So there's a lot of companies that will tell you, oh, we pay really, really great, but you have to have one person doing 20,000 and one person under you doing 40,000 and one person doing 10 and these two people doing 7.5 that like it's structure based, meaning that you have to force other people to have the same vision, have the same dream and work hard. And if not, even if you're working your booty off, you're not going to get paid because you don't have the right structure. And at Bravenly, you can unlock the entire compensation plan, which, by the way, industry average payout, the highest that it used to be before Bravenly was 35%. And Bravenly pays upwards of 58 to 62% of every dollar that comes into the company back out to the field, which is absolutely mind blowing. And I've sat down with Aspen Emery, our founder, and she said before she even got started, she had CEOs of other companies that knew her well from the industry telling her this isn't going to work. You cannot pay people this much. You're going to fail. As she hit 50 million, they said, you've got to stop paying people so much. You're not going to be, you can't even do that. You're going to go bankrupt. And it's not true. Look at us go. We are now number one fastest growing in the United States. We're going into Canada and Australia this year and many more countries to come. We are growing rapidly because we believe that radical generosity obviously points to God and it's going to attract the right people and we're going to continue to thrive because Aspen isn't doing this so that she can pat her pockets and go live on a private, island out in the Maldives. She's here to change people's lives and that's what we're doing as well. So what does it look like when you hear these facts? You say, I want to try the products. I want to start my business and I'm ready to join. What does this look like on a daily basis for me? Jordan kind of touched on it, but you're going to get a daily opportunity to work with every single one of us. Every single day, our personal team meets for a power hour is what we call it. And we tell you exactly what to do to earn an income that day. This is not offered to the entire company. This is just exclusive to our team. And you get access to us every single day to troubleshoot, to problem solve, to build you up, to build community and tell you exactly how to earn an income. Another thing that we do is we provide you content every single day. So for those who love social media, love content creation, you're already an influencer, fantastic. You can create your own content. But for those who say, I have no experience, I have 200 Facebook friends, I don't even know how to copy and paste on Facebook, we create content for you every single day. Your stories, those beautiful stories you see us all post, they're provided to you for free. Content to post every single day, provided to you for free. If you need help with conversations, we will chat in three-way conversations with you. I also work as the product trainer for almost the entire field, and my team has direct access to me. So anytime you need products troubleshooting, you have questions about products, what to recommend, we have a private chat for our team for that as well, where you're able to say, hey, I have this really complex person. I don't really know what they need. What would you recommend? And I help in those areas. And then you have events like this. Not all teams do events where everyone is included, everyone is invited. And we just really believe on our team that high tides rise all ships. We want everyone to win. We want everyone to collaborate. Macy doesn't make any money from Michaela. Caitlin doesn't make any money from Jordan, but we all collaborate so that all of our teams have access to each of our brains, each of our unique perspectives and leadership styles so that together, all of us can be more successful and everyone who chooses to partner with us in business can also be more successful. So you are joining a community of women that are servant-hearted. They are willing to give of themselves to see others rise and they will cheer for you. They truly want you to win. And I will say that is one of the most unique things about this company. Being a woman in medicine, being a woman who has achieved a lot of things that other women haven't, I will tell you that other women generally don't cheer for you. They're waiting for your downfall. They don't want you to win. They aren't cheering you on. And at Bravenly, I have seen people sacrifice their own success and their own time and their, something with their family in order to help someone else on this team win and do an event with them or cheer them on. And it is one of the most humbling and fulfilling things to know there are still incredible women out there and somehow they're all finding Bravenly. So just as Jordan said, I believe that you were on this call for a reason, whether that is to be someone who is going to be our customer and we're going to change your lives with the products, or whether it is someone who has been praying for an answered prayer, whether that be finances, whether that be more time, whether that be more community and friendship and a reason to get out of the house or a reason just to get off the couch. I believe that you are here and listening for a reason. I pray that you would act on that tonight, that you would have just a few seconds of bold, insane courage to say yes. It takes 3 minutes to get your name in the computer, and then we will take it from there. We will lock arms with you. We walk every single day of this with you until you're able to achieve your level of success. And if that's $50, great. If that's $50,000, I got you. We'll show you exactly how to do it. And if you do decide to partner with anyone on this call tonight that is on my team, there may be people from other teams listening, so I can't extend this offer to them. But if you are on my team or one of the four ladies who have spoken tonight, we do have some special offers for you. One, we are going to ensure that every single person who gets a product pack when they start their business has 30 free samples of Ignite. Ignite is our get up and go metabolism boosting capsule. I'm telling you, if you take it, your house is going to be clean. You're going to keep moving. And we're going to give you 30 samples of that. So that's 30 free conversation starters for you to hopefully get your first customer and brand partner. And then for anyone who is watching this and saying, I want to do it. I know I have the work ethic. I know I have the grit. I'm scared. I don't know how I would do it, but I want to get started, but I just don't have the money to do this. Please, please, please reach out to the person that invited you on my team. I never want finances to be a reason that someone can't join this business. We will work with you in order to get started. Like I said, we can make it free or we can make it $6.90 all the way to $6.99, depending on how many products you want and how big your budget is and what type of discount you want. But regardless of what you choose, the right answer tonight is to be partnered with Bravenly, whether as a customer, whether as a brand partner, or maybe you're on this call because you're supposed to connect us with someone else who you said, you know what? This isn't for me, but I know my friend Susie at work was just telling me that she's longing to be at home with her kids and she's looking for something. And I'm going to connect you with her because she really, really needs to hear about Bravenly. So thank you so much for taking the time tonight. I know everyone has a busy schedule. I appreciate you listening to us. And I hope that you will be sharing your success story on one of these calls in the very near future. Bye, guys.